Now, concerning Jack Parsons' place in the scientific world, he was very much developing machines of war. He was building guided missiles that could fly 150 miles to deliver 1,000-pound payloads, capable of killing hundreds, if not thousands, in a single shot. But what's crazy is that while he was developing these weapons of medium destruction, he was also playing dangerous pranks on his employees. He was like setting off smoke bombs during lunch.
He's a fun guy. He's out of pocket, man.
I wouldn't really like to be the employee, but it sounds like he had fun.
No, yes.
Yeah, he had great fun. No, he would take firecrackers and walk up to areas where they were working on volatile chemicals, and he put the firecracker into a tin can to make it louder, and then he'd light it.
That's fun.
Yeah,
And then everyone would freak out because they thought they were about to die, but he's laughing
My thing
and
is,
laughing.
man, honestly, your job is you're making these bombs, right? Stop being so scared all the time.
Well, it's a scary process.
Stop flinching. Jack Parsons was steely-eyed.
I guess so.
But since Parsons was of the opinion that no object is neither good nor evil,
Two-edged
even if
sword.
it is a ballistic missile.
But does a ballistic missile, or does it, how do I make this neutral? If it's just in your house, it's a table.
That could be a table. It could be a lamp. It could really be anything. Maybe you could use it to make holes if you wanted a lake.
I definitely help me you could take over that HOA with one.
Oh, sure. Oh, my goodness.
Well, Jack's company pushed forward, and they were given $3 million to further develop missile and jet technology. The shit's getting bigger and bigger. By that time, Aerojet had changed its name to the Jet Propulsion Research Project, or JPL.
Jack Parsons lives!
Oh.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it nowadays.
And the group dynamic had changed as well. It was far more corporate, and eventual trips to the moon had taken a backseat to the possible destruction of everything on the ground. It's not a bunch of buddies blowing shit up anymore.
No. It's getting down to job.
Well, they're dealing with some pretty important stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you want a little structure.
But Parsons continued to use JPL as his private experimental lab, continuing on with the same self-educated DIY attitude that had gotten him there in the first place. This, of course, caused tensions with the more hoity-toity employees at JPL, like an astrophysics professor named Frank Zwicky.
Whatever, nerd. You're not fucking having group sex.
But now, can we just say maybe they're right? Because it seems like he's doing a lot of experimental stuff with very dangerous chemicals. And
executive time.
Doesn't have
he needs to think of ideas and he needs to do things as it is his will.
Doesn't have a degree.
Well, that's the thing. Is that's what Zwicky said. He said that Parsons was dangerous and untrained, which, he was. Both of those things were very true. But he got results.
Bro,
So-
who needs that fucking degree, bro? If you're fucking,
got results.
you fucking,
I know, but
does LeBron
anyone-
need a degree in
anyone-
jumping in a basketball game?
No, it's different. It's different.
If anyone on this show, Ben, that I would imagine would be
This man.
fucking absolutely for
I'm
Jack
fine.
Parsons.
No,
It's
it's
again,
just- it's
it's
some-
chicken
I thought
wing
it'd
logic.
be you.
I am fine with the man who pulled himself up by his weird suspenders and he made himself a physicist without a degree. But I'm just saying at some point maybe he could have gone to a class. Maybe it was just a safety class.
He was the class, bro.
Well, that might be the problem.
Well, Zwicky had no respect for Parsons, and Zwicky would order chemicals for experiments that Parsons told him wouldn't work for rockets.
Fucking
Parsons was
wrong,
like, "Why are you doing that?"
Zwicky. Fuck you, Zwicky.
Yeah, but Zwicky's saying, I'm a professor. I've got the knowledge. I'll order them.
Mr. Teacher, I'll do whatever you want, Mr. Teacher.
I like the doers more than the teachers.
He's
but
on he's on the teacher's side. What is happening?
I am pro-teacher in many ways. I mean, I just think he could have been taught how to be safer.
That's so weird.
All right, that's so weird. I want to see how you respond to this, Ben.
All right.
When the chemicals arrived that Zwicky ordered, that Parsons said, no, we don't need those. Why are you ordering those? When they arrived, Parsons snuck out to the building where the chemicals were being held, and he blew up the building.
That's what I'm fucking talking about, dude.
I mean,
Student becomes the master. Oh, Mr. Teacher.
He's got a
What if I
$3 million
blow up your school,
he's
Mr.
gonna-
Teacher?
What is he fucking? Is he Tiger King trying to kill his alligators?
He's in charge of himself, bro.
But this
Yeah,
is,
man, this is his
we're
well,
about
it's
to
not-
go to
it's-
war. We're in war.
We're in war.
We're in war.
Yeah, man, all's fair in war.
This is with us. And he's at war. Technically, it's an act of domestic terrorism.
Look at you. We got him in the hypocrite trap.
No,
man.
this is not a
We got
hypocrite
him right
trap.
in there. We got him.
He
for
blew
two
up a
vectors.
government building because he was pissed at a professor.
Got him against the wall. You're him scrambling.
It's not a government building. This is a private building, bro. This is a company that he owns with a bunch
Private
of
enterprise,
dudes
bro.
in
Freedom is a
group
two-edged
He
sword.
just sounds like he
It is
would
a
buy
company
Twitter for
owned-
$44 billion.
Yeah, that is his fucking ability.
Okay.
No, man. This is a company that is owned and founded by a bunch of dudes called the Suicide
Yeah,
Squad.
bro. Get with it.
All right, I'm fine with it.
Eventually, though, the demands the military put on Parsons got to be too much. They demanded 20,000 JADO mechanisms a month when Parsons had barely managed to build 2,000 in the entire previous year. And so, when a company called General Tire bought 51% of the company Parsons had started with the Suicide Squad, Jack Parsons and Edward Foreman sold their shares to Frank Molina for $11,000.
Now-
No small sum in 1943.
Absolutely not. And there was a little bit of conjecture about whether or not they were forced out or not, or asked to leave, and because again, they were the suits took over.
Sure.
So once the suits came in and they bought it out and stuff, and they look at Jack Parsons and they were like, well, "You're too much of a renegade."
Well, because he blew up that entire building.
Taught that teacher a lesson he should have known himself.
Ever since, that company has been involved in every manned space vehicle that the United States has ever launched. And the shares Foreman and Parsons sold were worth $12 million just by the 1960s.
That was maybe
Never
a
mind
mistake.
present
Maybe
day.
they should have kept those.
They might have just fired him.
Put them in your back pocket.
Yeah.
But money was not what Jack Parsons was after.
Freedom.
But money,
Well, he's-
oftentimes, it has been scientifically proven now that it does make you happier.
He already was. It's different. He's trying to get in the magic biz.
Okay.
Well, while he still briefly worked as a consultant for JPL after the sale, he left the rocketry world completely at the age of 30 to completely focus on magic for the rest of his short life.
Age 3.
Now-
the man ascends.
Now, in modern value, Jack Parsons' $11,000 was worth $200,000,
Okay.
a fair sum.
Yeah.
So using these proceeds, he bought out the mansion lease at 1003 Orange Grove Avenue and spent almost all of his time at the lodge as a man of magic and leisure.
That's all I want. One day, if you could listen to this jazz fusion shit, dude. If you,
I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait.
All day long. That's all you listen to. Like, just like
nice.
fucking and drinking espressos.
Sounds exciting. So he was alone now? Or he still had a whole crew?
He's got the dude. He's got the crew. He's living with the crew.
Okay.
He's there 24 hours a day. Jack don't got to fucking wake up at 7 a.m. to go in and build rockets no more. Jack's there all fucking day long,
dude.
bro.
Great.
He's there playing with toy boats in his bathtub.
Yeah, bro.
He's there hanging out with
That's
Sarah.
my boy.
All right.
He's there fucking playing drinking games with Grady McMurtry, who had since forgiven him for impregnating his wife and paying for an abortion behind his back.
That's
They're playing
nice.
drinking games, man.
That's fun.
They had this one drinking game where they would chug aperitifs and then they would recite esoteric texts to see who could articulate their recitations the longest.
Because that's important, because you're supposed to hold your attention. A lot of the fucking ritual shit's all memorization.
But while Parsons was out of the rocket game, he wasn't yet done with explosions. He and Ed Foreman founded the Ad Astra Engineering Company, named after one of Aleister Crowley's magical organizations, and they continued to experiment with combustibles. At the same time, though, Parsons was alienating some of the older members of the OTO with his complete control over the mansion on Orange Grove. To make ends meet, because he's not getting that Aerojet money anymore, Parsons was renting out every available room to people outside of the OTO, although he still wanted to make sure he had the right vibe from all the new residents. This is what he wrote in a newspaper ad calling for borders.
And remember, I think this was 1947
Okay.
No,
or 45. It might be
It's like 44, 45, somewhere around there.
only bohemians, artists, musicians, atheists, anarchists, and other exotic types need apply for rooms. Any mundane soul would be ceremoniously ejected.
The thing about a mundane soul is they pay rent.
Well, you're looking for a non-mundane soul that has disposable income.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like what
even
they're.
though
It's the same thing that they're doing in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, right now.
Very much so.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Williamsburg, Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's a bunch
Just
of trust fund
it's a
kids.
bunch of kids that you somehow have $5,000 a month for rent and they
The
don't
real
work.
artists are out in
Nah, you
Bushwick
get-
now.
Yeah, sucking dick by the bridge.
They're even further out than that now, man. They're in Ridgewood. And even
Oh, they
then,
made it all the way to
And I'm
Queens?
salty. I'm salty about
you guys,
that because
you guys
we
don't know this?
Yeah, it's
oh
all
no,
Ridgewood.
dude, Ridgewood is like supposedly like one of the coolest neighborhoods on earth now. They're lying. They're absolutely lying.
Okay, no. I mean, it's the people that make it cool.
It's true.
Sure.
I guess so. If they only knew Catalpa. But even though the OTO members weren't super jazzed about non-members coming in, Jack's ads did create a groovy atmosphere.
So music, it sounds like that. Like, oh.
As author George Pendle put it, nuclear scientists and rocket scientists lived alongside occultists and sci-fi nerds, while Parsons and Sarah Northrup led Gnostic masses for the OTO members upstairs as High Priest and High Priestess.
I can feel the groove.
Oh,
man.
sure.